Hello there, it's Egwin from Scope of Life. Today I have another update for you. We are talking about walking, or at least about one part that is very important when we are walking or when we're just simply stepping around. I wrote an article about that a couple of weeks back. It's about that your feet are actually a very important part of your whole body. Structure-wise, very, very important for your whole body. So this time, I am especially focused on the ankle joints. There is a lot to say about that, so I'm just gonna pick out one or two details to bring to you today. We can do that later on in greater detail. So one important thing, when we look at the ankle joint down here, you might actually notice that the inside ankle here and the outside ankle, they are not completely at the same position on the inside and outside. So the inside ankle is actually a little bit higher and a little bit more towards the toes than the outside ankle. That's very important because we have actually two ankle joints. One between the calcaneus, which is like down here, the bone which forms your heel. We have the talus, and then we have the lower part of your leg with its joints that attach to the talus, which is like the tibia and the fibula, which run into this joint up here. So we have two joints in the ankle area down here. I wrote in the article already that it's very important to move those joints. It's not a good idea, like I see a lot of people doing, to move their feet like that, like with the foot and the lower leg actually in a fixed angle of roughly 90 degrees. That's exactly what we try to avoid. That's not very healthy. That has a reverse effect on your whole body structure. Right now, I'm going to help you to correct this. Now, when you look at me, when I take a couple of steps, just look at what my feet are doing. You notice there is an opening in the front here, an opening in the front of my ankle joints. And that's exactly what we want for our steps. So, in order to achieve that, it's actually quite simple. You just have to think. When you take a step, just think to open up this joint to the front. When I say open up to the front, it's literally as if you had a string attached from down there out to the front here. And when you pull on the string, what happens is that this joint gets opened up to the front. And that's exactly what we want here. Obviously, you don't run around the whole day with thinking down to your ankles what they are supposed to do. But as mentioned a couple of times before, if you want to change a pattern that is running wrong at the moment and you want to correct it to be something better, to function better, then it's a good idea to have specific times where you say, okay, now I consciously focus on, for instance, my ankles. I consciously focus on opening the ankles up to the front when I take a step. Sometimes you do that, and sometimes throughout the day, whenever it comes to your mind, once again, just think, oh yeah, there was something with my ankles. I was training on something with my ankles, and just on your way to the bus stop, on your way to the kitchen, whatever, when it comes to your mind, just stick to it for 3, 4, maybe 5 steps, and then just let it go again. Once again, it's very important for the body to get an information a lot and get the information in different situations again and again and again and again in another situation. Be playful, be joyful with rewriting a pattern. Now there is one more thing to it. When you look at my feet from the front, when I open up this foot to the front, I can do that. I can open the foot completely to the front. But I mentioned the strange positioning of my ankles before. Well, actually not only mine. All normal human ankles are built in such a way that the inside ankle is a little bit further to the front, to the toes, and a little bit higher than the outside one. But that tells us something about the joint that's underneath, or actually about the two joints that are underneath, and about the axis of rotation that is generated by the form of the joints. And the axis of rotation is of such a nature that I exaggerate it now. Yeah? Be aware, I exaggerate the movement. Still, it's of such a nature that when you open your joint, it actually doesn't only open to the front, it actually opens to the side and then comes back in. So it actually makes this sort of an outside swinging motion. That's a little bit more complex to discuss, more complex than I would want for this short video tutorial today. Just keep that in mind. I'll come back to that later on, either in a written article or in another video tutorial. When you look at that, once again, it's not just this opening to the front. It's very important for you. That means when you do this exercise, when you do this focusing on the front part of your ankles here, like the front part of your ankle joints here, and you think of pulling with the string on the ankle joint to open it to the front, don't force yourself for it to be completely straight. Allow it to open a little bit to the side. That's fine, like that. So that the rolling motion in the toes actually happens in a connection line between the base of the big toe and the base of the small toe, which is also in a slight angle. I'm going to explain that in maybe a drawing or something like that, written in the blog, or maybe I incorporate it in this short video so that you have a better idea of what I'm talking here. It's just very important that the ankle has the allowance to move freely the way it can move and the way it should move, actually, in this case. So once again, I just walk from here over there, just a couple of steps. The only thing I'm thinking about is opening my ankles to the front, and I allow them to open a little bit to the side as well. I don't turn my toes out to the side, so I don't walk like this. No, my toes are pointing towards the camera, are pointing straight. But the opening of the ankle is actually a little bit sideways to the front and in a slight angle outward. That's very important for the whole stepping movement. As I said, I'm going to explain that in greater detail later. For now, just experience this new aspect. Try to really get into the habit of moving your ankles. The rear foot is the one that's of interest here. So looking at my left foot, now the ankle should extend. Then I place it. Now it's my right foot. Now the ankle should expand. And I'm now placing my right foot. Expansion and stepping. The important thing here, when we do this exercise or when we do this kind of walking, what happens is that actually part of the movement of my leg being transported to the front gets generated by my ankles and by the direction I give to my ankle joints, rather than controlling the whole movement out of my hip area, but not moving the ankle at all and having it stiff. So if you really want to have a lot of flexibility, if you really want to have like this freedom in your legs, also you notice when I'm walking, my legs are rather free. They flip to the front rather easily. There is no really work in there. It's with great ease that my steps just flow to the front. And that's exactly what we want from a step. We want a step to promote our ability to go forward, to go into the future. But we have to do that on our own. We have to generate the possibility for such a step by our habit of using our leg joints. And the most important, most misunderstood joint in this region, hip joint, knee joint, and ankle joint, is definitely the ankle joint of all the three. Solve part of the problem in the ankle joint, and the other two joints will have a lot of problems less. Not only those joints, but even your whole spinal column, your pelvic region, especially also the muscles in the lower back area, they will all drop in tension. All those areas, they will really benefit structure-wise from this new stepping method, and your whole body will be more energized and more grounded, which again translates to better ability to deal with emotions, to a much calmer mind, to a more stable energy, and obviously to a more stable physical body. And also because of the feet moving completely free with a lot less tension. This again also means that the blood flow and the lymphatic flow in the legs is a lot better, which again translates to an enhanced and supported immune system. So once again, a very important thing that can be done. It's not a big deal. It's a very short and very tiny thing that you can incorporate in your daily life, but that will still help you a lot, once again, in your overall well-being and in your life. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for further updates. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box. I'm going to talk about the legs, about body structure, and about correct stepping a lot more in the future. So make sure to subscribe, stick to the blog, and have a wonderful day. See you around. Bye.